Hey guys, I wanted to share something that I found the other day that God showed me, and I know there's a lot of stuff that I feel like we can really glean from this, and it's just the beginning, and so I'm really excited to share it with you. Um, I it stemmed from um, I had 365 subscribers, and so I looked up 365 in the concordance and came across a whole bunch of good stuff. And um, so in the Greek, 365 in the concordance is used twice in the Bible. That word, anene, um, a n a n e o o. So n n e o. We'll see. So that word is used in Ephesians 4:23 when it's talking about renewing the spirit of your mind, and then in Job 33:24, and actually in the Greek Septuagint, the wording is quite different than the Hebrew, which I find to be really fascinating and very telling. Oftentimes, when the Septuagint has something very different than the Hebrew, I feel like there's something to be gleaned there. And so if you go to like blueletterbible.org and you look at the Greek in 365, and then you click the button to look at the LXX, the Old Testament Septuagint, and you look at Job 33:24, and you copy it, and then you translate it, it's very interesting. And so it it talks about how um, his body, how the body would be renewed, and also talked about his bones being filled with marrow, which was really really interesting to me. So, and I found that really cool that there's 365 days a year in our Gregorian calendar, obviously, and there's this renewing, this renewal. And it really, to me, it really goes hand in hand with the Hebrew word in the concordance for 365. That word means a hind, which has to do with a female, um, a female deer, the hind. And I found it really interesting that a hind was also used as a loving address of a woman, like a very, she's my hind kind of thing. It's a very lovely thing, a very, almost like a pet name, I guess. Is the best way that I can say it at the moment. And I have notated Proverbs 5 verses 19 and also Psalm 22. Now, Psalm 22, the subscription for that psalm is on the hind of the dawn. And some people have speculated that it's the name of a poem to be to the tune of the psalm. And some people have compared the Hebrew words that make up hind of the dawn, um, and said that it probably has to do with the morning sun. They think it has to do with the sun itself shedding its first beams. But the Arabians then called it Gazelle. And when I saw that, that really made me think about Song of Songs. Um, that really made me think of Song of Songs, because it can be said hind of the dawn or doe of the morning, but repeatedly in Song of Songs it says, come, I'm paraphrasing obviously, it says come like a stag, come like a gazelle. And in that area of the world, it would have been more than likely like a red deer. Okay, they're much larger than the white-tailed deer that we have here in the southeast of North America. It's a completely, it's different, not completely different. Obviously, it's a deer. Um, but the red deer is Cervus elaphus, if I'm not mistaken. It's found in the UK and through all the way to like the northern parts of Africa, like Iran, Israel, and those areas. And so a stag and a hind are how they normally refer to um, the male and the female of that particular species. And a stag would be a male that is usually 5 years or older, which would be older than a young or, a juvenile. Some people speculate that their average lifespan in the wild is 11 to 13 years. I'm not sure how accurate that is. I found a lot of different debates on Reddit and different things about that, so I'm going to just leave that there. But I felt like I needed to say that. But so with the subscription of Psalm 22 saying, the hind of the dawn, the doe of the morning, depending on how it's translated, and the fact that back in those times it was referred to as gazelle. I'd like to find more about that, honestly, in the Arabian languages. From what I understood, what I read, I find that really telling. And when you read Psalm 22, and it's Jesus on the cross suffering, to me, when I read the psalm again, and I'm knowing that the subscription of the psalm is hind of the dawn, doe of the morning. To me, it no, and I could be wrong because I am a romantic woman of God, right? So to me, that was like him. It was like a prophecy of like him doing it all for love. He's doing it for his bride. And so it's Psalm 22. It's a psalm for his bride. How he laid down his life for her. That's what it seems to me to represent. And I know I've seen a lot of different commentaries saying all kinds of other things. But to me, it's saying that it's for his gazelle, it's for his hind of the dawn. It's for his doe, so to speak. And the fact that it was 365, every day. He did it for every day, for his love for his bride. Every day, every dawn shows his love for his bride in that sacrifice. Every day she can look at the dawning of the sun and see a reflection of his sacrifice for her. That could be a stretch, but to me, to my romantic heart, that is what it means. And I'm probably gonna I can see how I could just stay there. So I just wanted to share that bit that I had found. And so the Hebrew 365 does correlate and have to do with the Hebrew 355 and the Hebrew 354. Okay, the 354 is the heart, H-A-R-T. It's very interesting that the male, sorry, I had that wrong earlier, I apologize. The heart, H-A-R-T deer of the red deer is a male deer, adult, especially a red deer over 5 years old. So you have a hind and a heart I feel like there's so much there too. I know it's HART, but it's the heart of God. I mean, the heart of God is Jesus Christ. You know, it's there's so much symbolism there. It's just so rich with symbolism. So, just a little cool thing I saw, and it, you know, and it really did. It just Hebrews 365 really made me, the Hind being such a loving address to a woman, the bride of Christ. To me, it's just a reference. It's a subtle reference to the bride of Christ and how every day of the year he loves her, and every day of the year he would gladly lay down his life again for her. And that's what I see in that. Um, and now I'm never going to look at Psalm 22 the same again either. So maybe that will inspire you as well. But feel free to share what you think about Psalm 22 and the bride of Christ and gazelles and deers in the Bible and Song of Songs. I'm just really grateful to all of you and all of my new subscribers here that subscribe to the channel. I really appreciate you. And wow, I'm just blown away. I had like 8 subscribers a year ago, so maybe a little more than 8 by then. But for the longest time, for like well over a year, I had like just 8, which is cool because for me, 8 is Jesus' infinite love for me. So that's fine. Um, but I'm glad you're here, and I hope you all are blessed and doing well. And just thank you for being so supportive, and thank you for being so respectful in the comments. I'm just so proud of everyone, because I feel like God is really wanting the body of Christ to really stay focused on the things that matter. And it's great to fellowship and have discussions and things. We just gotta let him keep renewing our mind and our hearts so that we don't get bitter or too caught up or bent on the things we like to discuss, because we're all a part of the body of Christ and we all want to go home and be with him. I think everyone can agree with that. Like, everyone wants to experience more of his love and to be in his presence, and and all the good things, right? So I love you guys, and I hope you have a blessed and wonderful and magnanimous day. And I pray that every day your life gets better and better and better, and that you are filled with more of God's joy and strength every day, and that the height, depth, and breadth of his love is revealed to you in more ways and ever impossible ways, because everything is possible with God, and he loves you more than you could ever imagine. In Jesus' holy name I pray. Amen.